Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
Aenys Vaekar, the last Dragon Lord and last chance of the old Valyrian Empire. The man who travelled into the Doom and emerged with a monstrous dragon he named Doom, with which he started to rebuild the greatest empire in history. He bent the slavers, took the first daughter, and burnt Lys, Tyrosh and Myr into submission, and would have continued to subdue the remaining remnants of the Free Cities if not for his tragic and untimely death. A great shame for such a legend to be taken from the world before finishing his life's work. Fortunately, he left behind 4 children to carry on his name and legacy, and hopefully complete his dream of a new Valyria. 10 years have now passed since Aenys' death, and Aenys' son and heir, 18-year-old Astorion, is now the Emperor of New Valyria, only just coming into his rule after 7 amazingly prosperous years of regency by Aenys' oldest and closest friend, Brion Haenerys, helped by Black Anne Hor, Astarion's personal bodyguard, who oversaw the construction of the new Vaekar capital of Sarmel, which is turning into a formidable and wealthy city, kept peace in the empire during his whole regency and raised Astorion into what should be a worthy emperor before passing from severe difficulties with gout, unfortunately leaving behind no male heirs despite having 3 Valyrian wives, all of which only gave him stillborn sons. In the later years of his regency, Brion heard of a wonderful young diplomat also skilled in finances named Cerulean Blackthorn, so invited him to court. He was besotted by the boy's charm and mind, and quickly took him under his wing and added him to the council. It was Brion's last wish and advice to the council and young Astorion that Cerulean was the perfect candidate to follow him as regent and hand. The next 3 years of Astorion's regency was filled with uncertainty and many council changes, his new regent, Cerulean, removing many of the great, now old men that served with Aenys, moving them to different corners of the empire out of the way for much more corrupt and easily influenced councillors, such as the greedy Tyroshi steward Salos Morad and the terrifying Master of Whisperers from the Stepstones named Miro. Astorion, despite Brion's best efforts, has little interest in the day-to-day ruling of the Empire, has no interest in swordplay and warfare, and would rather lock himself away to read and study ancient scrolls and history. Despite his solitude and antisocial behaviour, however, he manages to inspire ferocious loyalty to those closest to him, forever protected by his shadows, the ageing yet formidable Black Anne Hor, and his dedicated and dangerous cousin Taeron Rhayander. His twin brother Orion, however, is the complete opposite. Raised away from Sarmel at Illyria, the seat of the heir of Valyria, by Aenys' other oldest and close friend Norris Pennos, he has become a formidable fighter and soldier, spending the past few years fighting in many battles in Slaver's Bay. He's looked upon by many as Aenys reborn. Some whisper that he should be the emperor. However, he too has no interest in diplomacy or ruling, and would rather spend his days fighting, drinking and whoring. The only one with any diplomacy skills is Aenys' oldest child and daughter, Princess Alaris, a dragon rider and skilled warrior in her own right, both bright and beautiful and worshipped at court, but she too was removed from the Emperor's council by Cerulean, who has tried to get her to join Orion in Illyria to deal with the slavers. She now, however, refuses to leave the Emperor's side, knowing how easily manipulated her younger brother can be. And of Doom, you may ask, Aenys' former monstrous dragon? He remains untame and wild, making his nest to the north of Sarmel in the ruins of the Rhoynar. Now, a full 10 years on from Aenys' death, after several amazing years of peace and prosperity, the Empire is showing cracks. The Hand and Council is corrupt. The slavers of Slaver's Bay have united under a man naming himself the Emperor of Giscar. The Dothraki are sensing weakness and raiding into the Valyrian lands like never before, and the Sunset Kingdoms and their dragon kings get stronger with every passing day.